at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Nobody is coming to save you. Get up. Be your own hero.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Be your own hero. Absolutely 100%. Coming to you live 250 miles above your imagination in the International Fake Station. And I have my good friend Something Wong back here from the Chinese Communist Party, making sure that I toe the party line. All right. So what I wanted to do with everybody, we'll let everybody get a little bit of a thing. I had a really cool idea, a way to kind of eliminate the interruption aspect of these debates. And both sides are guilty of that. Some more than others, some people more than others. I will say that. But there's got to be a way around that. And it's been being used now as a tactic. Now, Jaron tried to implement a buzzer, and I can understand what he was going for right there. But all that did was let Craig interrupt me mid-sentence, and the buzzer freaked everybody out. That's all it did. It just made it a more convenient way for him to interrupt. So I'm looking for a couple of people to go ahead and try to come up here. Click the link here tonight and come up on panel. And it should be pinned up in the chat. Come up on the panel. And hey, Mojo, how you doing tonight, buddy? All right. And come up. And one of y'all just role play a Globetard. We're not going to really have a debate. But what I want to do is I want to show how my idea of the moderator speaker thing should go that would eliminate a shitload of that. But just to give you an idea, I mean, and who's going to want, with the way I've got it set up, who's going to want to waste their times just going on telling somebody that they don't understand shit and that they're not educated and blah, 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 like Craig. Right? So there's Ida Hat. So we've got Mojo Shops here tonight. Ida Hat's here with us. Daniel Watkins. We got Jehovah's lovely daughter, Barbara, in Rems with us. Let's see. Chicago Cubby Bear, I see in here. We've also got Mike Finnan, Saddlebum, Martine. What's happening, my friend? What's happening? Good day, Barbara. He says everybody loves Barbara, and why shouldn't they? She's sweeter than hell. We got Dougie Bear, Dave the champion. Thank you for that. I want another go at that motherfucker, and I want it in the kind of format that I'm going to put up. Okay. So I want to show you a little video that Mike Oxbig put out, Robot Polisher, on. All right. this guy, man, watch this. This is pretty good. Robot Polisher put this out here today. I thought it was pretty funny. You know what this guy did, man? He went on to Jaren's comments, right? No, I didn't stream anything yesterday. No, I took yesterday off. I was on some other shows and stuff for a little bit, but that was enough. But this clown went through under the name Philip Craig. You could tell it was him even just by his. I think I busted him out on it even too. But he went through like a little fucking butthurt girl and had to respond to every comment on the comments on that video of the debate. And yeah, I watched what's it seemed. I ended up falling asleep, man. It wasn't because the show's boring. It was because I was tired and I was really stoned. So you have that. I have to go back and watch it. But yeah, I couldn't believe he went under Philip Craig. That was it, you know, like nobody's gonna know it's him, and went and had to comment on every single fucking comment. He's just such a child. But anyway, Robot Polisher, Mike Oxbig on Twitter put this out. I really appreciate it. It's really good. Just take a look real quick. It's kind of irritating.
Can you steelman our position of what gravity is and what experiments we would use? Yep. So in that experiment, what's the IV? You brought up the Cavendish experiment. I know it. I know everything about Cavendish experiment. Right. Okay. So back to the Cavendish experiment that you just ignored. Sorry, back to the Cavendish experiment. I know what the IV is. Yeah, I know what the IV is. I am fully aware of what the IV is. You were the one that brought up the Cavendish. You were the one that brought up the Cavendish experiment. And I absolutely 100% know what the IV is. In fact, I typed it in my chat just now.
I brought up the fucking Cavendish experiment because you asked me to steelman your fucking argument. Okay? That's not my argument. It's your argument.
That's the question I asked you. So
I answered the question, Craig. Can you stay on fucking topic and stop acting like a girl?
Dave, every time you interrupt me, I'm going to start from the beginning. So we'll get there. As you just interrupt me.
And it'll stop this too. Definitely will. What's happening, Mike? Good to see you, brother. I think you're muted, bro.
What's up, bro?
There he is. Now we got sound. Good sound.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see here.
Get you turned up a little bit. I can turn you up on my end if I need to.
Let me just make sure I'm using the right microphone. Am I muted when I do this?
Yes, you are. You are
Okay.
muted there.
And we are on the right microphone.
Okay. Yeah, I've had it do that to me too. I think I'm going through this Samsung GeForce, right? And it actually somehow got set up to my camera, and I mute this thing and I'm still on a hot mic. It's fucking, you got to be careful, man.
Do me a favor, restart your little video here.
Oh, all right.
This is too funny. I couldn't see it because I was joining the stream.
Right. Got you, man.
Can you steelman our position of what gravity is and what experiments we would use? Yep. So in that experiment, what's the IV? You brought up the Cavendish experiment. I know it. I know everything about Cavendish experiment. Right. Okay, so that's the Cavendish experiment that you just ignored. Sorry, back to the Cavendish experiment. I know what the IV is. Yeah, I know what the IV is. I am fully aware of what the IV is. You were the one that brought up the Cavendish. You were the one that brought up the Cavendish experiment. And I absolutely 100% know what the IV is. In fact, I typed it in my chat just now.
I brought up the fucking Cavendish experiment because you asked me to steelman your fucking argument. Okay? That's not my argument. It's your argument.
That's the question I asked you. So
I answered the question, Craig. Can you stay on fucking topic and stop acting like a girl?
Dave, every time you interrupt me, I'm going to start from the beginning. So we'll get there. As you just
I can't stand a motherfucker act like he's some kind of an authoritative figure like that, man. I swear to God, that's why I say somebody would have thrown his ass overboard if he wouldn't have been on a submarine. Oh, man. And I'd have had a hard time not putting him through the fucking torpedo tube. I cannot stand when a motherfucker acts like he got some kind of authority over you. Oh.
I heard you.
What's that?
I heard you say something about the Philip Craig thing. It's the same I knew right away. Like I didn't say anything to anybody, but I knew right away. I was like, "That's you idiot," because you're saying the same dumbass shit with
Yep.
nothing intelligent to back it up. You know, no actual equation, just saying things. He's very good at playing the game. Icing the kicker is what he did to you. He was. I want to make a meme. You know, I'm just not. I don't want to be too mean, but I can make a meme of him just smashing this buzzer every time you have something intelligent to say. He's like, oh no, oh.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm looking for one more brave young individual to come up here on the panel to either play a Glober or a flat earth guy. And I'm just going to do like a demo. We're not really going to do a debate, but I'm going to do I want to demonstrate how this thing would work. I can actually do it with just me and you, but if I have a third guy, it'll make it even better to do it.
Come on,
with,
somebody
so.
jump in here. Let's go. Get this party started.
So somebody click up on that link. I think you guys will like it. It's going to work out.
We'll start again from the beginning. Every time the experiment is performed properly, it gives the exact same results. The experiment is set up correctly, it does the exact same thing.
If it's set up and does what you want it to do, then it's correct. But if it's set up the same way and doesn't, then it wasn't set up correctly. That sounds like a cop-out to me.
No, Dave, when it's set up correctly, it does the right thing. If it's not set up correctly, then it won't do the right thing. So
saying
you
exactly what I said.
If you don't set up an experiment correctly, you will not get the right results. Set up correctly, it works correctly. And that's it. If you don't set it up right, it's not going to work right. It's not my fault, Dave, that you don't understand science or what an experiment is. Gravity is perfectly good at containing the gas on Earth. Every part of every galaxy is contained within the universe. Every bit of the gas is contained within the universe. Specifically on Earth, it's contained thanks to gravity. That answers your question. Please do not ask the same question again.
No, it didn't answer my question at all.
It doesn't matter that you don't understand it, Dave. That is the answer to your question. Because of gravity. The atmosphere is being contained very nicely by gravity, regardless of your misunderstanding of that fact, Dave. That is science. Doesn't matter if you don't agree. The sun, being a massive ball of hydrogen, matches the predictions of gravity. I explained how gravity is a container and the universe is also.
Wouldn't you have to prove that gas has gravity? You would have to prove that gas has weight.
No, it's retarded. Gravity is a theory. He would have to prove what gravity is. Like it's just
exactly.
He's using this is called pseudoscience. You're using something you can't prove as an argument against someone else. It's
right.
It's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, what are you talking about? Hold on. When has anybody ever seen gases collect together other than being
Come on, Dave. You don't know about gas giants floating around in space and other galaxies and come on, dude.
Totally, man. You really have to put your fucking brain on the back burner to buy into that.
Back burner, man.
Yeah, man. I don't even think them fuckers work. Them burners don't even have a simmer.
It's a script, man. And if somebody when someone like yourself or there's a couple people who do get him side railed with a few questions that he's maybe not be used to, then it's the beating around the bush and the ice and the kicker thing where he doesn't actually answer the question. He runs from the question and then he pulls it back to blame it on you that the question didn't get answered and that you're interrupting him because you want him to answer the question. Now you're the bad guy for saying, please stop, deflecting.
Right. I mean, steel man my position, he said. And so what do? I just said, okay, well, I'll just say some shit that the Globetards say, And then he says, you brought up Cavendish. And I was like, only in context as if I was one of you guys. I don't fucking buy into that shit. Don't act like I brought it into the goddamn conversation. I would be embarrassed to bring that janky shit up if I was a Glober. I'd be fucking embarrassed. If you've ever even seen the damn thing, I'd be embarrassed to even call that an experiment. I don't care who you are. You claim to know science and think that janky shit's science. Get the fuck out of here.
I feel like the Bedford level experiment's the only one I could truly say is legit for both sides. It would prove one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, and there's multitudes of other ways, man. Here's the thing. I don't have to prove to you that it's flat. I observe it as flat. Water lays flat. Yeah, exactly. We see this. Everything starts with an observation.
But remember,
so
somehow for him, Dave, refraction, no matter what size ball you're on. So if we're on a flat plane, everything looks flat. But if it starts to turn into a ball at any point in degree, no matter the degree, it's going to put your image back to flat, is what he's saying. How retarded is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of
I like
refraction.
that. The
Dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
gases
No
are.
matter the curve. I'll never see the curve because it's refracted back to straight. So how do I see the curve on a cup? How do I see the curve on anything?
How did he actually say that the universe is all the gases are contained in the universe? Contained. He said the universe is contained
because we have an atmosphere and gravity is.
Yeah, but he said universe was contained. The gases in the universe the gases in space are contained by the universe, and the universe is contained. That's what he said.
He's saying no, I think he was just
listen to this shit, man.
He said the universe is contained.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
Right here.
I'm not a globetrotter. It could be.
The sun, being a massive ball of hydrogen, matches the predictions of gravity. I explained how gravity is a container and the universe is also a container. So stop going down this route. We need a container, because I told you what is the container.
The universe is a container.
He did say that. And the
and
sun's not
isolate
contained,
show gravity from the sphere in a lab, because the lab's on Earth. Gravity's a container. Next.
Gravity is a container.
Go ahead, man. I'm open, man.
We can literally see it happening in space. Have images of it literally happening in nebulae in space.
You can theorize that there's this thing called space, and this is happening because you think that you saw a cloud of gas in outer space. How do you know that you saw a cloud of gas in outer space?
We saw the pictures. They've been taken, and we looked at them. That's how I know.
Holy
I cannot
shit.
go to a laboratory and get a bunch of gas to pour into a ball. Look at all.
What?
I've seen pictures.
Yeah. And those pictures are artist renditions based off of radio fucking signals that they look at on data charts. There's not a photograph of a cloud in space. That shit's the fantastic, comes out of the minds of whoever's painting it.
I just feel like if we were in a court of law, right, and you were to bring evidence to the table, and the prosecuting attorney is like, yeah, and here we have Craig who says, he has a picture of the gases in outer space. So, yep, guilty. It's pictures of, like who's using that as evidence? And someone who claims to be a nuclear physicist or whatever the hell he wants to call himself, how is he going to claim to use a picture of something that's millions of miles away as evidence that it exists?
Well, it's even Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's there showing one of those pictures of these nebulas and this shit, right? And you listen to him and he says, if you could see an infrared, this is what you would see.
I hate that.
And it's like, well, we don't fucking see an infrared, and that's not what we're seeing. You just made that shit up.
And added some bright colors to make people go, ooh, ah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've never seen a picture of outer space that was unaltered. The outer space is black and white, basically, unless you zoom really fucking close in.
Yep.
I mean, you could be out in the middle of Colorado and you're going to get some really nice colors due to just atmospheric distortion and static discharges, all kinds of stuff. But the sky is not going to look like they paint the picture to you.
No shit, no. And that's what when Don Pettit, when he's talking with that Mosimo guy and they're asking questions.
The Magellanic clouds.
Yeah, and he's and you can see the zodiacal light.
We didn't see stars. We saw stars. Yeah, we see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. We see them all the
they
time.
lock eyes. They have to lock eyes to agree with each other.
That's the ticket. Yeah, we see stars. Not only do we see stars, we see angels too. Yeah, that's it. That's the ticket. We saw angels up there. You can see John Lovitz as a fucking astronaut, right? Yeah, that's the ticket. We bounced around on the moon surface. Yeah, that's what we did. And then yeah, that's it. We hit golf balls around. Yeah, that's right. We bounced around on the moon and then we hit golf balls around. Yep, that's what we did. All right. Yep.
It sounds like an SNL skit.
Yeah, it's John Lovitz, man, all over the place right there. I'd love to see him do that. That would be great. Wonder if you could get him to do that, guy doing a NASA interview.
I'm
That
gonna
would be
pack
funny
one
as
up,
shit.
man. It's been good talking to you these past couple days, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Well, I'll finish this thing up and then I'm going to go over that debate thing. And even if we don't have nobody else come up here to help us, I can still show how it works. And I think it's going to work out really well, man.
With the gas planets and nebula. Level does not mean flat. Level, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, conforms to the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface. True level is the curve of the Earth. So
saying water is level actually matches the globe's
Conforms to the liquid parts of the Earth. Yes, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. And by the very
Not
definition of
hypothetical
level, that means that the condition of the water is level. That's word trickery, bro. That's fucking word trickery right there.
Do you know how people used to figure out level before lasers?
Water.
Water.
Dude, I remember one time I was working on putting a deck, a big, huge second story deck on a person's house, right? And you know how we leveled out the fucking cross beams? We had a clear hose of plastic, really, really long, and we filled it up with water. And then all you had to do is that other end of that thing with the water in it, as soon as it was at the same level as down here at the other end, it was level.
Did you know that's the most accurate you could be?
Yes, absolutely.
It's the most accurate level on the plane.
Absolutely. And that bottom's sagging like a motherfucker, too.
And that's why it's so important. Water is so detrimentally important to any experiment done.
Yep. You always got to consider the mediums, man. That's what this thing's all about. It's all about a dynamic fluid pressure system that we're in, man.
prediction. Thank you very much.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
I have measured the Earth's rotation personally. It is not always the case that the positive claim requires the burden of proof. In logic, the claim that goes against the status quo is the one that actually requires the burden of proof.
Put it back up.
I will do what I want, and I want it here right now. Yeah, I thought so. Right. So, as this says, having no part higher than another, conforming to the curvature of the liquid parts of Earth's surface. No, that is not something that is contradictory.
Put that fucking thing back up there. That contradicts itself. That totally contradicts itself.
It's not my fault you don't understand it.
Oh, really? Having no point higher than another is contradictory to a fucking curve, you noob. Think about it.
You noob?
I
Think
just
about
explained
it.
why.
That's not an explanation. That's a gas-like bunch of shit.
Explanation you don't understand, Dave.
Dude,
That's what it is.
you really are onto the idea. You really think that the memorization and regurgitation of shit that you read someplace or somebody told you in a classroom makes you smart. You really think that?
That's good stuff. No. Dave, you rely on the regurgitation of people like Eric Dubay to think that you are smart.
I know it's a scientific theory, but I can put the word scientific in front of the word bullshit, and it doesn't make it any less bullshit. Never entertain that idea. That had to be fed to you as a child and then beat into your skull.
I'm going to bleat my own horn a little bit here, but that may have been the best debate performance I have personally ever done. I am very, very proud of how I performed in that debate. I felt like it gave me more ability to control the conversation the way that I wanted. But that's mainly because I'm smarter than the flat earther and can use the situation to my advantage, right?
He looks like an autistic.
That does come in handy.
You have a plan, you have a strategy, so that kind of helped you a lot.
I'm smarter than the flat earther, right?
Dude, that is the cringiest thing. I haven't seen. Oh man,
can you steal, man?
What was that? He's so cringy.
I know, right? Do you know he went through? I was telling you, he went through as that Craig guy or Philip Craig had to comment on every single fucking comment everybody left. Man, I could not believe it. I thought it was funny as shit. I messaged Jared. I said, "Go look what that fool's doing, man."
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have multiple accounts doing that. I mean, they're all saying the same thing. None of them ever have anything to say other than flurf this and you got beat. There's like no mature resonance to it. There's just nothing about it that's scientific or professional. It's just all these horrible comments. It's so funny to me. I think it's funny.
So I'm still waiting. Is there anybody going to jump on here? If not, I'll go ahead and I'll just start showing you how this thing could work. And this would be really good. So what'll happen, you can do the coin toss for whoever goes first. Of course, there would be a moderator on here. I'm gonna play one role and be the moderator at the same time just to show you how it works. Okay. So what happens is, let's say that, all right, so Mike won the coin toss. He gets to go first. Introduce yourself and then give a short explanation as to what your argument is. Okay. Now, at this point, what happens is I go on mute. Now, Mike, when you're done talking, indicate you're done by saying done. Okay. So when you're done, I'm THC Show Live and I'm here for this position, blah, 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 blah. Done. Now at that point, I get unmuted and you get muted. And the same thing happens. So just go to show you how it goes. Mike won the toss. Go ahead, brother. It's on you.
Yo, I'm Mike, and I smoked Mad Tree, and I'm here to tell you that the Earth is a spinning water ball flying through the infinite void, and I love the ball Earth. I'm done.
Okay, now I'm unmuted. I come on and I say I'm Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. I have a channel on YouTube. I also smoke tree, and we're here to show you that the Earth is indeed a topographical level stationary plane contained within a dynamic fluid pressure system. Okay. So then based on that, since you get to go first, and of course I say done, boom, I'm done. Then you get unmuted and I get muted.
Love balls and planets
At that point. So then.
Okay. So you're muted and then I would be going.
Right. I'm muted and then you're going. Okay. So you go ahead and present whatever, like an argument for the globe. Go ahead.
Space is real because we have rovers on Mars. Done.
All right. I don't think space is real at all because of the fact that we found multiple amounts of these photographs to be faked. There's been flies photographed in the pictures. They've actually caught animals that are native to Greenland. It looks exactly like Devon Island. And my biggest question would be, how would they get through the containment in order to get to this place called Mars, if indeed it is actually a place? Done.
Okay, so, and then question for how this is going to work. Does anyone get an interruption or any kind of like leverage?
There's no opportunity to interrupt the other person, and you're only given a reasonable amount of time to give your response. Say you get a full 2 minutes or a full 3 minutes. I'm just saying hypothetically. You don't have to use it all, but you can't exceed it. Okay? And so then are you going to want to eat up your time with a bunch of bloviating over insults and shit like that? Or do you want to go ahead and make your point? That's up to you at that point, right? So also the moderator is going to look and say, wait a second. I don't think you're addressing the question. Or, if he sees him filibustering on about some nonsense that has nothing to do with what is asked, he can step in and moderate that way. I mean, what do you think of that kind of an idea?
No, I like it, but I did enjoy I think the buzzer thing was a great idea to implement, because a lot of times when I'm in a debate or an argument with someone about something, I do want to jump in right when they say something that maybe I disagree with, right? Like there are a couple evidences in, and then they say something that doesn't quite go along with it, or something that I can prove really quickly that is wrong or something. I would like to use a buzzer, but it would be nice to have a low amount, 1 or 2, something to where like, hey, these are precious. We're talking for 2 hours. And if you want to interrupt somebody, that's fine, but you only get to do it twice.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's good. And also, here's another thing too. I too have that want to jump in there and say that's fucking wrong, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But here's what I would suggest, that the participants have a little pad of paper and a fucking pen, right? So that when the other guy's talking and he does say something that you would want to jump in and say, hey, that's fucking bullshit, write it down. And then when it comes to your turn, you can address those very points and nobody's interrupting anybody, because what happens is usually somebody jumps in on a point like that and says, no, that's not true, and here's why I can prove it. Then it goes off into another tangent. This guy's going to argue with you about that, and then it's going to start interrupting back and forth again. The best way to do it is the way I came to this. I was thinking about the old days of CB radio. Nobody can hear anybody else when your microphone is keyed up. If you're mic'd up, that channel is yours.
Yeah, once you hold that button down.
Right. And that's why they would say over and then release it. The other people know that you've released the key and now the channel is open again and they can respond. And this is why you used to have to go in when you first wanted to talk. Instead of just start getting on there and talking, you'd have to say breaker, whatever channel number. And then
Breaker
somebody on the channel would say, go ahead. Yeah. Then they would say, go ahead, breaker. And then you could go ahead and, make your query or see if somebody's out there or whatever else you're looking for. But that was the courtesy as you do that. So I see it looking like that way because nobody gets any information at all if both mics are keyed up at the same time. That's just a fact. And I'm thinking, if you can minimize the interruptions, and there again, give 2 buzzers where you can do something like that. But that's all you get. Any other time, discipline yourself to write down the points that you go, oh shit, fuck that. What did he say? Just jot yourself a couple little notes, just so you know what they are, to remind you that when you get when the guy says done and you come on, then you've got that, hey, what do you mean by this, that, and the other? That's not true, blah, blah, blah. And this right here was factually wrong because of this, that, and the other. And then show your reasoning for it. And that keeps the other guy can't just jump in the middle of you presenting that and calling him out on his shit because he's muted. So he has to wait until you're finished. And now all of this has to take place in a reasonable amount of time. You can't just get on there and bloviate for 20 fucking minutes and then go over. It can't work that way. So I'm saying within a moniker of reasonable amount of time for each type of section like that, I think it would work out great, and it would get it would minimize a lot of that. And if you take away that interruption tactic and that diversion tactic away from this idiot, if he tries it in that kind of a format where he's trying to shift the conversation around, people are going to see it immediately.
You're right.
They're going to see it immediately.
You're right about that. I think that is his game. Like, even that's why I said it's so cringy, because at the end of that, when he's on his show talking to his audience, yeah, I steered that the way I wanted it, to where I could say what I want. Like, dude,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? That's not professional at all, If you looked at the end of that, if you were to speed it up by 5 times or something like that, right towards the end, I mean, he was literally getting you after 3 or 4 words, and he was able to use as many as he wanted. And I'm just sitting there yelling at the TV, like, let him fucking talk, Craig. It was bad. So if you could lessen the amount of those, or even not have them at all, like you said, we'll see how it goes. It could be good.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty good. I ran the idea by Jaron, and I think that'd be cool too. You get 2 buzzers.
I'm a motherfucking interrupter, so I want to be like, no, fuck that. Give me out.
Yeah. But see, that stops. What that does is, because a lot of times what people do is they want to focus on some stupid minutia that was only a small portion of what you were trying to explain, and then get the focus on that and off of the point you were making by the explanation. That's another tactic they use. What do you mean by if? Shit like that. And it's like, motherfucker, same definition everybody has of it. Stop that.
Well, and the other thing is, Craig's done hundreds of these, right? So he has a debate tactic where he's able to answer the questions he wants and get away from the others. When
Well,
if
I
it's my
wasn't about-
first and second debate, you know, I'm going to be kind of stuck and look shocked at a question that I might not know. But I'm going to be honest about it. That's the difference between me and Craig. I'm going to be like, I don't know the answer to that question. He's just going to say some other dumb shit to cover for the fact that he doesn't know.
Well, he tried to do that on this. He said, he says, well, all right, well, let's move on to the other subject. And I was like,
Right.
no,
Yeah,
fuck
no,
that.
answer
No,
fucking-
we're not
you're
moving
under
on.
oath.
You didn't answer the shit that I asked you in the first goddamn place. You just said a bunch of shit. So anyway, back to what I was saying, bro.
Too funny.
You know, I mean, no, I'm not going to play that dumb shit with him. You know,
Who's this robot polisher? That shit's hilarious.
oh yeah, he's on Twitter.
That's fucking great. So he must have
yeah,
been
well-
watching in the background or something, huh?
Oh yeah, he's got all kinds of cool shit on there, man.
That's funny.
If go on there and also look for Bill and Ted, you know.
And that's obviously one of my favorite clips of Klaus Schwab, you know, where he's like, not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I was like, oh my God, did he say that out loud? Do they think like that?
Yeah, he's got a pretty cool channel. I'll put the link
post
to it.
this shit. That's funny. Good job, robot polisher, if you're watching.
Yeah, man, I reposted it too. I'm gonna paste that down here in the chat for anybody that wishes to see it, or go to his Twitter page. He's got a lot of cool stuff on here. I think you'd enjoy some of his videos he comes up with. Let's see if I can find something else he's got.
I'm gonna go.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one he's got. I can show this. Oops. What'd I do? Hold on. Let me put us back here. Wow, what happened? My little thing I changed the size. That's why I changed the size of it. Okay. Of my screen, it's bigger so I can see it further back. Right on. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, what the hell, man? They screw with his videos, man, where they'll make them so they don't even play. Pisses me off. Hold on a second.
The gay flags on the moon. What was that? This shit looks funny.
Where?
Neil
Space.
deGrasse Tyson answers if he thinks the universe is gay or straight.
How the hell could it be either one?
It's the dumbest
God.
thing I've ever heard.
That is the most ridiculous shit I have
Hey,
ever heard.
Final
That's just
frontier for
stupid.
homosexuality.
Wow.
God.
Let me see if I can get that damn thing to play. What? They took it down, probably. Oh, I don't see it. It's gone now. That video I was trying to play, man, they took it down.
They hit me for another health medical misinformation one. They took a video of mine off.
Really?
I'm constantly like, bitch, it's just my opinion. I don't give a shit what people do.
Right? Yeah, I don't care what people do either. You know, I really don't.
I'm not advising them to do anything. Yeah.
No, I know what I'm gonna
That's
do.
my opinion.
Yeah, but I just stay away from that shit, you know, because there ain't no reason to even talk about it.
Yep.
Is this the one? This might be it. Let's see what they say.
Nebraska, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas. Head outside right now and you might be able to see dragons streaking through the sky. It's
Something you don't want to miss.
and hopefully we'll see some photos from you all of seeing Crew 7 re-enter the Earth's atmosphere.
Going from 17,000 miles per hour down to about 350. So yeah, there will be a bright streak across the sky. On your screen now is a live view of Mission Control Hawthorne.
How come they don't catch on fire going out?
It looks like a car dealership, man. I mean,
You ever wonder that? How come them fuckers are going faster than a bullet? How come they ain't catching on fire going out into space? They always catching fire coming back in.
because
don't
of the
make no
because
damn
they
sense.
might skip off the fucking thing like a stone on the water. if they don't do it just right. So they have to have all that fire on their hunk of metal.
To burn through the air.
Where Dragon operators are
Standing by, monitoring Dragon's progress,
and
reviewing activity, and informing the crew of any changes necessary.
Notices regarding splashdown are issued to the mariners in advance and during recovery operations, and
Coast Guard patrol boats are deployed.
to discourage boaters from entering the splashdown zones.
So we do really want to stress to the public
The
that
need to respect this safety zone. Any other boats interfering increases the risk. So for the safety of the crew and your safety,
we do recommend you sit back and watch.
we'll continue to bring you the best possible views of our astronauts' homecoming. So again, we're expecting that acquisition of signal in about
3 minutes and 30 seconds.
we'll be sure to bring you live views of the vehicle whenever we have them. Unfortunately, due to ground station coverage, we don't always have those beautiful views of the capsule or of the crew inside the capsule, but as soon as we have them, we will be sure to bring them to you.
We don't always have views of the crew on board Dragon or the International Space Station, just based off of some of the handover between satellites that occurs.
There is a TDRS handover, meaning we're switching from one satellite to another of the tracking and data relay satellite system. Once we have views of the crew inside the capsule, we hope to bring them to you. Due to ground station coverage, we don't have live views through the entire show, unfortunately, and we would love to see them just as much as you. So we hope to have those soon. We mentioned earlier, when we have views of the capsule, we will bring them to you, but due to ground station coverage, unfortunately, we don't have them for the entire show.
TDRS or tracking data relay system handover, but we do expect to hear confirmation that burn was nominal.
Dragon SpaceX, deorbit.
It's always fucking nominal, man. It's always nominal. Every time. It's nominal.
I mentioned that a lot, Dave. There's never any mishaps. I looked it up. There's been 4 documented collisions in outer space.
Oh, really?
And over how many missions have they gone to the moon? Hundreds. It's outer space, and all the machines that they've built are super, super safe.
That's fucking stupid. They do nothing colliding up there. Jesus Christ. Jesus. The shit people will believe is insane. I was just thinking about the $17,000 to down to 300 miles an hour, right? That would be like you being in a really long fucking car crash. You know, like a never ending fucking car crash. It just good. Trying to throw you forward as that fucking thing starts slowing down.
Well, they claim it has ion thrusters, okay? And that's what they're doing. They're shooting the ion thrusters backwards as they're coming in, like air brakes, man. Futuristic stuff, you guys. You know, and just because you don't understand how it works doesn't mean it doesn't work. Okay.
I did forget about the flux capacitor though, too.
Exactly. Now you're learning. Now you're learning. You put banana peels, a couple beer cans, you're good to go.
Science.
That's
what it is. You don't understand science. You don't know how to do science like you do. You didn't fucking do science. You don't do science. It's a method. It's a
the universe is contained.
Jesus Christ. I really feel like I live in idiocracy, and these
the universe is contained by gravity. So I mean, what else do you fucking need to know?
The universe is a container somehow.
Yeah.
This guy's fucking retarded, man.
Burn complete. Performance nominal. Nose cone closure initiated.
Great to hear that deorbit burn was successful.
So now that deorbit burn is complete, and as we heard, it performed nominal anticipated loss of signal or LOS. The plasma on the outside of the capsule builds up so much so that communications and commanding of the vehicle are not allowed. The capsule, in its orbital velocity, which is going right now, is going 17,500 miles per hour. The white panels all around the exterior of the Dragon capsule, although they're not so white after they re-enter, looks a little bit like a toasted marshmallow.
We will experience what is known as a blackout period, where we will not have communications or visuals with the crew due to that plasma building up around the heat shield. Blackout period. We will have a loss of signal period during that time period, and because of that plasma buildup that's going to occur, we are going to have a communications blackout.
As soon as we have something to bring you, we certainly will.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Man, it's so retarded. You're muted, bro.
Oh shit! I said I don't think either one of those broads could be a robot polisher.
I think they are robot polishers.
They're polishing something.
That pole.
Yeah, man. But here's their fucking capsule. Why ain't there no steam coming up around this thing? Right? Here's this thing just got done being on fire. It was all hot and everything, and it splashes down into the cold ass water of the ocean, and there's no steam.
I mean, that's an easy one, though. I mean, don't forget it's NASA. They have technology.
Gold foil.
Aluminum. Why do you think the moon lander made it to the moon without burning up?
Had to have that gold foil. That's why those little Rochelle chocolates in the gold.
And they're
foil,
made out of NASA makes those.
Yeah, they'll make it through a fire. You can come back after your house burns down, and you see those things just sitting there in the rubble, unscathed, not even melted because of the gold foil.
Not even melted on the inside.
No.
Unscathed like Earth flying through the infinite void?
Right. It's just magic, that gold foil. No, it doesn't do that. They'll melt. Don't try that at home, guys. All right.
Tell me how Earth has made it 500 trillion miles a year unharmed. Tell me. This is the question I have when I go to bed at night. You know?
It's not moving, man.
Oh, that's right. I'm good to go. I don't have to think about that stupid ass shit anymore. Thank the Lord.
Don't have to worry about an asteroid the size of 33 sheep.
Or another planet. Or
did you see that article? They put that out. They actually
put 65 Jew noses.
They said that it was as big, that there was an asteroid the size of 33 sheep was going to narrowly miss the Earth.
I feel like that's tiny.
Well, who measures shit in sheep, and why has it got to be 33 of them, right? They're fucking laughing at you, man. That's what that is.
And we did see a lot of social media hits of folks in the Midwest as they watched Crew 7 re-enter the Earth's atmosphere.
And that was just SpaceX Core letting the Crew 7 team know that there it is, that view is online once again. This allows us to see over their shoulders and once again see what they're looking at on their screens.
Great to see Crew 7 back home, and wow, just what a way to start the morning.
And traveled more than 84,434,000 statute miles around the Earth, which is just a massive number when you think about it.
No, that's not a massive number at all. It's like I've watched those things and I've thought,
Nebraska, Kansas.
I want to listen for any real information that they give. And they don't give any information.
No, this is one of the best ones I've seen, where she's just like, it's Craig's sister. You know, she's giving like nonsense, but it sounds cool because she's saying words like nominal and stress test and re-enter and atmosphere, you know. So just repeat all those words and run in different orders.
She had to correct herself. She said it's normal. I mean, nominal.
I gotta use that word enough. They're like, you get paid only if you say nominal 67 times.
God damn right. They must have that in there. Here's some more footage of these guys when they come back.
Phenomenal.
Look at these guys, man. They're faking
Here's
it every
Kevin, we're ready
fucking
to.
time.
Are you ready to re-enter the atmosphere?
Look at here. This so exemplifies what you right now. Right now. Check this out. Flat earthers be like, told you so.
Bitch. Oh. Yeah, stat my face on there.
I love it, man. I love it. But no, I mean, I think that format would work good. And I like that. You added that because I didn't think about adding the buzzers. Give them a couple free buzzes, right? But this would force people to have to implement some impulse control.
Right. And
Because
if you use one, you have to wait 15 minutes or something, or 10 minutes. You know, you can't use it right.
You wouldn't be able to. You would after you've used your 2 buzzes up, and Craig would use his up quickly, right? So
how many did he use? That'd be a good thing to go back and look at.
I know I hit it 3 times, and once was because it was an accident.
I'm gonna go back and look.
I didn't mean to hit that. So yeah, and I think what it does is like, and it's like this, man. If you hear something in those talking points while you're muted that you feel the urge you need to respond to, jot it down, write it down, make yourself a little note, draw a little picture if you have to, whatever the fuck, right? But as long as you're muted, and the other guy's keyed up, if you treat it like a CB radio conversation, the other guy can't hear you if you're raging off in the background because he's talking. And the only person that has control over the mute is the moderator. Any participant other than the moderator that touches the mute button for any reason whatsoever to unmute themselves automatically loses. And I think that would be great to teach some impulse control in this shit, you know, and on both sides. Because let's face it, we can't get any information out there if a motherfucker keeps interrupting you right as you make your point. And with a buzzer or without a buzzer, it don't matter. He waited till I was right about to make the point and then went, and half the time I couldn't even hear the goddamn thing. It didn't. I'd hear it over on my side. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I just think that would be the best way. Oh, look, there's Tim Bob. See how your genius works out. What is he talking about? Try it. Oh, we're working on that, Tim Bob. Jesus Christ, how many accounts do you have? Are you some kind of a schizo man? That guy, have you experienced that guy, Timmy Bob?
No.
Oh my God. He giggles like there's a gerbil trying to escape from his fucking colon.
Oh, have you had what on the show?
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to go back and check some of my other streams, man. This guy's
Tim Bob giggles.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. We called him the Giggler before. But most people refer to him as either Timmy Bob or Timmy.
Is that like a play on the Riddler?
Yeah, man. Well, I think he's Craig's giggle buddy.
Oh, he sounds like a what is he like? He's going against everything?
Yeah, he's a baltard. And when he giggles, he sounds like FTF.
Yeah, because one of his comments said, "Why don't we reinvent sex while we're at it?" Like, dude, we're just talking about making a debate forum on his channel, something different from everybody else. Like, relax, guy, you know.
Or even, you know, to help Jaron streamline what he's got going on.
Sure.
You know, and after participating, I think I'm fully qualified to point out what I see as advantages and flaws to it, you know, and that's what he was after anyway. And I think that when it comes down to it, that is the biggest tactic that these assholes have, is interrupting you. That's their biggest fucking tactic that they have, because as soon as you're making your point, that's when they want to jump in. McToon does the exact same thing. And if they're held to the rules of a CB radio, that you only one person talking at one time, that's it, outside of the moderator, So when this guy's talking, that means his radio's keyed up. And until he says done or over, the other guy stays muted. Now, of course, it's governed within a reasonable amount of time. You know, you can't just go on for 40 fucking minutes and blather on. If the person's even starts going on repeating themselves and saying the same thing over and over and over, the moderator can step in and say, yeah, you've made that point. Do you have anything to add to the point? If not, we're going to mute, you know, like that. Sometimes you gotta strict it out, you know. I think that'd be the best way, but I don't know. Who knows? I'll keep doing it. I want another go with that fucker, though. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not done with him. I'm not done with him. I'm going to double tap that motherfucker hard. That's just the way I feel about it, man. Because I tell you what, he's just an evil little shit. And I cannot stand some motherfucker wants to sit there and act like he's some kind of an authority. And next question, please. Fuck you, buddy. Not next question. You didn't answer the one I gave to you in the first place, you prick. I don't have to deal with you. Oh, yeah, very good. Looking to see, he had some other good ones on here that I was looking at earlier. He's got some shit that you get in trouble for playing it on here on the YouTube.
I love that we can play music on YouTube now.
Oh, really? We can?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you won't.
Good.
You won't.
So I could put some tune in the like background,
yeah,
and have that playing. Oh, cool. I'm gonna put in Into the Mystic, man. You like Van Morrison?
Some old school shit.
Easy now.
Yeah, you're no spring chicken there. Maybe you are. How old are you there, Dave?
I'm 58, man.
Oh, you are spring chicken. All right.
Yeah.
You got another 58 to go, right?
No, hopefully not. No. Listen, if the way I'm
Tell us
seeing
what
it,
you've learned so far.
oh yeah, but with the level of crazy that's increasing like it is, I'm just like, nah. You guys
exactly,
can have this circus, man. Y'all can have this fucking circus. I'm out, you know. But hopefully, I can wake up a few people and get the message out before I have to end this experience, you know. But don't mean I won't still be around, you know. Let's see. There's good old Paul's going to have to go. I can see. There we go. Paul Simon.
Oh, see you later, buddy. Get that.
Yeah. You have been voted off the island. I'm sorry.
You are the weakest link.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. That's who that fucking idiot sounds like to me. That bitch that run that show. I couldn't stand her either.
Me too.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
It's that pompous fucking snobby attitude.
Yeah.
Like, you know everything when you don't, when you clearly don't. You're just like, oh, it's the worst.
Oh, it's all right, Barbara. That's all right. I think we got the point out there. I think it was pretty good. A pretty good explanation. I think people kind of get it, and hopefully we can have what's his nuts. Jared. Hopefully he'll see this. I told him to come on here tonight so we could role play it out, you know. And but I don't see him. Maybe he had to still work or something. There's a lot of people. Yeah, so it's no big deal. I think we got the point out. I think he understands where I'm going with that. And I like the idea of you can have two buzzers and you get a minute with your buzzer, right?
You think a minute? Like the buzzer should just be like like, hey, I'm interrupting you, but then you don't want to make the guy lose his train of thought too, because if the guy's got a minute to talk, you don't want to take over his shit, right?
10
Maybe
seconds.
like a 15 seconds.
Yeah, 15 seconds. That would be good. That would be good.
Like, hey, you can't say that because of this, and this.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Go ahead. Continue. You know?
Yeah. And so like you get two buzzers, 15 seconds each. And any of the rest of that, you have to do your own impulse control.
And you can't use them back to back. Like there's got to be a space between the two.
Right.
So,
Right.
Dave.
Yeah, you're talking for 2 hours. 2 is good. What up, Kevin?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going
So,
on?
how much is it going to cost for all this hardware to set up this game show that we have to have for our forums?
It's not really a game show. I mean, I could do it right here. With
Yeah.
the simple, even without the buzzer thing, I don't have a buzzer thing, but I'm sure I could incorporate it somehow.
Yeah. It just sounds like everybody's such haters, you just like, nobody can do like what we do. We just, shoot back and forth and shit. Everybody's got to play the shill thing, I just don't understand it.
Well, that's their game, is deception and misdirection.
Yeah.
That's the only way their shit can work, is through deception and misdirection.
Yeah. It's just the shits that you got to waste all of your, our quality time, we have to waste it on watching all the bullshit transpire. And it's just like frustrating.
Well, as I've said before, man, the purpose of a debate is I don't expect to change Craig's mind. No. Okay. What it's for is for the people that are watching it, especially people that aren't one way or the other, or maybe somebody who is one way or the other. Okay. But what they're able to do is they're able to get the information and weigh it out themselves. Look at both arguments. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that's what it all comes down to. That's what it all comes down to.
And so if you want to spend your entire side of your argument using your to make ad hominems and tell people they're stupid and act all haughty and shit, that's all well and good. Go ahead and do that. You're not helping your side. Okay?
Yeah.
You're
just making whoever's on your side look like a dumbass because they don't have any common sense.
Right. So that's the way I look. That's the way I look at it. Is it? And then when those buzzers are used up, after that you have to practice impulse control. Have you a pad of paper and a pen, and they saying some stuff, and there's something that rubs your butthole the wrong way. You go ahead and write. Just make a note, draw a picture, whatever you got to do. Just make a little note. And then when it's your turn to talk, then you can address those points. So use your buzzers wisely.
Yeah, it's kind of like the voice. Like you got blocks, like they got their blocks or whatever, so they do the same kind of thing on the voice.
I mean, I would even be willing to host one on here to try that format out. Anytime.
I'd be down.
Pretty cool. Or, if Jaron wants to do it on his and try that type of a format out and see how it works, that'd be cool too. Doesn't necessarily have to be me, but I'd like to debate Craig that way. I think that would be a good way to expose that all he is insults and condescending attitude. He doesn't really have any information at all other than regurgitating shit that he finds online. He has no real factual evidence of anything at all.
Yeah. That's the hard part about it, is that they even if they think that they got a valid point about the earth being flat or not, or whatever anybody else's ideas are, I mean it just never pans out because they're never sticking to the facts, because the facts are always going to set everything straight no matter what. But they don't want to listen to them, and they're not able to to drink that in or even have any cognizance of it. Is just so frustrating.
Right. Well, it's their you have to look at it. The entire thing is steeped in deception and misdirection. So the argument is going to be steeped in that. Every talking point they have is going to be steeped in that. For instance, how many of these people how many times have you heard, well, gravity's right in the buoyancy equation? Not really.
No, not really. Not really.
Not really.
No.
Okay. Well, you want to tell me what that actually is? You want to tell me what that is? Oh, it's a number. So is gravity a number? Nope. Nope. What does that number represent? It represents an observed effect. Isn't that interesting? So is an observed effect the cause? No. So what are you talking about? You saw an observed effect and decided to say that you assumed it comes from gravity. It doesn't matter what you assume it come from. What's important is that rate. Okay. And that's what they don't understand.
Yeah.
That actually means there's gravity. And I'm like, no, man, you can change the little g to an A. Okay. Anytime you want to change that little g to an A, it's the same thing. You're just confusing yourself with that shit.
Well, I think it's funny when those young kids come on and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, it's gravity's this," and well, everybody's been telling me that gravity's gravity, so that's what I'm going to assume that is what it is because they say it is. That don't hold up water at all.
No, I mean, it's so gravity causes gravity. That's basically what they're saying. It's like pressure causes pressure. And it's like, wait a second. Well, we have a gradient. Well, what kind of a gradient do we have? It's a pressure gradient. Ah, there you go. Key word. How the fuck do you have pressure? How do you have a gradient without pressure? And how do you have pressure without containment? You can't. You can't. And that gradient is not due to gravity. I mean, that shit. Show me a downward acceleration of air. There isn't one. There is no downward force of air on it.
It reminds me of that dude that was saying that the universe is under pressure.
The
like, yeah,
the pressure would be, if there was pressure at all, it wouldn't be what they say it is.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's all a fictitious idea as to what's beyond.
The gas above the next layer is not heavier, so.
Well, we've got a lot of things going on here. First off, it's not a layer cake. Okay.
Right. Is it all mixed together, or is it sitting in thin layers?
So what do we start? We know what Dalton's law. Dalton's law means that the pressure is the sum of all of the individual pressures of each gas added together. Now, what happens when we start going up in elevation? What changes up there? Oh, I guess a little thing called temperature, which does what to a gas?
Makes it condense.
Right. So it starts coming back down. It's constantly mixing, right? But something that we don't have up there as we get higher, we're missing water. And a lot of the heavier elements that when they become cold, they drop. They don't keep going out. So they succumb to the temperature. They succumb to the temperature. But none of this could be taking place if there was no containment. All of that would just be ripped away instantaneously. You'd be dead before you even knew anything happened. It would be so fucking quick. So if they're piercing through this firmament, which they're not, then that would cause a breach, which would instantaneously, given what they tell us space is, it would be instantaneous and violent equalization of our atmos with the fucking space.
At the edge of the barrier, right?
I mean, right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Like, I still haven't heard from Elon Musk yet either. So, he didn't want to cop to his rocket bouncing off the firmament.
Have you ever seen a bullet shot into the water? What it looks like?
Yep.
All right, compare that to what you see when these fucking things hit the dome.
Yeah, I know. It's plainly, blatantly in your face obvious that
oh my God,
whatever the hell it is, it's solid. It does not let anything go through it. That's for damn sure.
I think there's a super dense fluid.
Me too.
In the outermost atmos. I really do.
Well, I mean, it was hard enough to blow that rocket up though, because that rocket separated the headpiece, turned around and came back towards Earth, but the rocket still had thrust, and they weren't able to like stop on a dime because the thrust was still coming out.
So dense that it doesn't have penetration. It could be so thick of gas. Like gas can be dense enough to not penetrate, right? Is that not correct?
Well, if it becomes dense enough, it'll become a liquid.
There at some that we know of, though. I mean, like it's some sort of even if it is a liquid, a liquid could for sure become impenetrable.
But it could be like mercury, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's just you know, and that's what I mean by impenetrable. There's no displacement, whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't flex.
Even liquid helium.
Yeah.
And there's also elements out there that when struck at a faster rate become a solid than when struck at a slow rate.
Yeah, like silly putty does. If you can,
it turns hard when you strike it.
Yeah,
and it turns soft if you play with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real silly, real crazy shit what stuff can do. But I was just thinking about I lived on a lake, and I can remember as a kid, and I'd forgotten about this, but I used to play with bottle rockets. There was this little store. We'd ride our bikes all the way to the other end of town because this place sold bottle rockets. And we'd take those things, play with them all summer long. And I can remember taking them and shooting them into the water to see what would happen. And they would go down, and then they would struggle. They would get to a point and struggle to go any deeper. And then finally, when they burned out, they'd come back up. They would literally go into the water and like make a channel, and they would sit there and try to go back. They would try to keep going deeper as the rocket burned out, but it wouldn't let it go any deeper, and the thing would finally come back up.
I heard that water can be, you know, it can crystallize, but when it's in a container, when it's in a pressurized container, if you heat it up again, that the crystals don't have anywhere to expand to, that even at the highest temperature, or I guess it's the other way around, is that when it gets so heated, when it gets superheated, that it can turn back into crystal. So the firmament could be made of this, that it's so hot that it got so hot that it crystallized again, that it's superconducted. And that was
what could make it get hot like that?
The sun.
Yeah, but the sun's not there all the time. I mean, it's I think what we see as the sun is actually, I think we're seeing a projection myself, and I don't really think that the heat is actually coming from the sun, but it's actually a reaction between the earth and the sun is what causes the heat. And this is one of the reasons why when you go up in elevation, it gets colder.
I can't stand that dilemma.
You know, I mean, I came to that idea using an induction cooktop. And I was thinking, that's really crazy. What if the earth?
Yeah, what's going on there? What's the technology behind that? Where you can't burn your hand, right?
Well, no, you can burn yourself on the pan, but the burner
not on the source of heat,
right?
Though, right.
Right. So the source of heat is
metal conducted. Yeah, because you have to have a reaction, and the reaction is in the metal.
Right.
Right.
How fucking crazy is that?
It's really cool, man, because
it's called Tesla.
Yeah.
Nikolai Tesla came up with that.
So if you start adding magnets into that and electricity, like getting into some cool shit, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's never just one fucking thing, man. There's a bunch of things that work at the same time. This is a really intricate dynamic system. It really is. When you start breaking it down, even just the respiration system of the earth, you know, the process of condensation and evaporation and the exchange of gases and production of gases between organisms. It's phenomenal what's going on. That's why I say we're part of the earth. We're not on the earth. We're part of the earth,
bro.
Yeah.
We are nature 100%. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, this stuff's crazy, though. I mean, some of those inventions that Nikolai Tesla came up with, and his resonance and his high frequency RF, and I mean, there's another guy out there in the world. His name's Gerard Morin, and he's up in Canada, and he's figured out how to make electricity without needing anything. You know, he's figured it all out. It's all frequency. He created an over unity generator. It works perfectly. It's awesome, and it's a pretty neat little setup, though. But it's kind of like not on topic. But I'm just saying, it's there's some crazy stuff out there that Nikolai Tesla that's where this Gerard Morin got all this information, was from Tesla. And I mean, he's doing some big things.
Looking to see if I got I think that Mike was the one that made this video I'm looking for. I might have it on another thing too. Who's these guys? What is this, Jack?
Just kind of explain why.
Oh, this is pretty good. I love watching these guys' facial reactions when they're trying to answer questions.
Just kind of explain why we're not getting to see these images live. The Apollo 11 landing was broadcast live. Why now
don't we have the technology to see all of this live?
This ain't easy. It's not easy. Space is hard, but the moon is harder.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And we're getting a picture on the TV. You got a good picture, huh?
He's on the moon.
And the second man is on the moon. Hey, you got it? That's a good step. Yeah.
Look how far away the horizon is.
Is that something?
We've just got a report from Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Romania that the picture quality there is very good.
Armstrong, they're getting ready to move the TV camera now out to the panorama position. Okay, as far as distance goes, Neil, and we'll line you up again when you finish the panorama. Tell me if you got a picture here.
You can throw a rock.
Beautiful picture, Neil.
In terms of more media release, yes, absolutely.
We're working towards improving that, trying to get you surface photos, because I know that everyone's hungry for those surface photos. More cameras. The message is loud and clear. It would be great to get a picture. We have that in the works, so more great imagery from the moon.
Video and pretty pictures.
We're as eager to see those images as the public is.
Obviously, imagery, we love it, want to share it as much as we can. We want to record it. But if we're having issues getting it off of the vehicle,
unfortunately, we just did not have time to go fix that. It's going to take a little bit of time.
there is a capacity that we share, and we're being as transparent as we can here.
A little slower than we might have wanted.
Some hardware problems.
It's not pointing at Earth. Data flows out of mission control in a very sporadic way.
There are many other customers, science customers, that use the Deep Space Network. Actually slows the effort to share things.
Science customers, Mike.
What the fuck is that?
Well, anybody that's
I
out
hear a
there,
new term every day.
consumers of science, people that go down to their local science store to buy some
It's a
science.
local science store. Holy shit, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, man, it's in the science section at Walmart in some location.
With the team, and a number of issues with file transfers. We did have a number of communications glitches. We had either forward or return link problems.
Also, during coast in the zero gravity of environment of space,
It's very difficult to transmit on the fly, if you will, and get that all the way back to Earth.
struggle to get communications.
Unfortunately, they're going to be in the darkness. They will not be sunlit, so we won't get very good video of them.
Tip of the iceberg at its beginning, for people to realize, wow, this was an incredible success.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
People telling me how, oh, it's so funny that you keep saying that we landed on the moon, but you don't even have any pictures to prove it yet. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I don't need a picture to prove it. Right? I don't need a picture. They all were saying how we were so dumb for believing it without any pictures. You're not always going to get pictures.
Over a dozen funnies on the list. Issues,
Challenges.
glitches,
Phenomenon,
problems,
idiosyncrasies,
anomalies.
At least they're actually getting things. They're actually getting footage. Why would they go out there and fake something and then go, oh, we accidentally snapped one of the legs and it's tilted over 30 degrees?
So that you can ask that question.
It makes it look more legitimate and authentic in a way. Same way with having the footage be poor, because it's like, well, if they were faking it, why wouldn't they make it look better? Well, actually, they wouldn't, because it's harder to tell that it's fake when it's not very good. If it was high definition and they really went all out, like Interstellar and stuff, you'd be able to figure it out. To figure out that it's fake. You certainly can't do anything like that live. Secondly, it obviously gives them an excuse to not give you everything, right? Now you're not expecting as much because it tipped over. It wasn't completely successful. It's brilliant script writing to fake it, but to appease people as if they really landed on the moon.
It's just CGI and propaganda, selling it to the masses, blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, dude, they're not doing that.
Mike, that's what we were talking about right there. Those guys, what are they actually really cheering about?
No, they're at a fucking football game or something.
Yeah, man. That's total. That's film manipulation right there. That
no one. I mean, I understand that some people are excited, but not these like college people are like. It's not right.
Mm-mm. And there ain't nothing on anybody's cell phone screen either.
I could have a job at it, really.
They're all active. They're like grabbing their head. There's a couple of them doing the exact same move.
God. So we've been joined by Ethan. What's up, Ethan?
I think Ethan's got a picture of Starlink.
Ethan?
What up, Stav? How you doing, dude?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey, man, I was listening to the show and I heard what you said about the sun.
Yeah.
And I wanted to piggyback off of something that you said because I've had this idea that the toroidal field of the Earth is not always fully charged in the same amount in the same place at the same time, and that charge kind of goes around in a circle like around the whole Earth, and that electric charge is what creates the sun. And in my opinion, the moon's the magnetic charge creates the moon, and I think it's actually tied to men and women. I think men create the sun and women create the moon. Kind of a little bit of an out there idea, but I think it piggybacks off of what you're saying about the sun not being a physical object. And they're not lying. The sun probably is a burning ball of gas. All the hydrogen and oxygen and helium and nitrogen that's up above us is burning up. But it's really just our own gases caused by the electric field of the Earth. What do you think about all that?
That's interesting how it got. And I was thinking about that with the men creating the sun and the women creating the moon. And recently I've been seeing a smiley face moon where it's laying on its back. And that's kind of like, look how slutty women have become here in 2024. I mean, it's like they're all wanting to go on OnlyFans and show their coochies and, all this other dumb shit like that.
So sad.
I would be smashing it if I was about 20 years old right now. I can guarantee it. But
so bad.
You know what I'm saying? But that it has. I can't believe how loose women have gotten over just in. I mean, it was bad enough when I was younger, but Jesus Christ, now it's like you got
no
abs.
morals.
You just go, hey, here's one.
They've
Come on
taken
over.
the morals from them.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I kind of tied in, and I was just like, it's kind of funny. But if you know that thing's been happening with the moon here recently, I'd never seen it before in my life where the moon looked like a smiley face. Every crescent moon I'd ever seen was like a C or a backward C when it was in the other phase. I never, ever in my life have I seen this. And then just in this last year or so, I started seeing smiley face moons. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been so gradual, even if it was real, like that we wouldn't have noticed. It's just like, wait a minute. I think there's a few people that are like, what the hell? I've never seen that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's something going on with our world. Definitely different. And I think you might be onto something with that. And of course, a positive and a negative. Everything's got its duality. Everything has its duality. There's poles to everything. There's evil. There's good. There's dark. There's light. There's cold. There's hot. But are they really different? Is good just an expression of less bad? Is light just an expression of less dark? Darkness may be an expression of less light. You understand they're related, but they still have their duality. Everything has this dualistic nature to it. And so with the positive of the sun, and also as we see the creation story in Genesis, we have Adam and Eve. Well, what did he do? He took Eve from Adam. And you might think, well, why didn't he just create Eve, right? But Eve had to be taken from Adam because Adam was dualistic. And to split that dualism he went into the positive, the negative, the dark, the light, the masculine, the feminine, whereas God encompasses both. And if man was created in the image of God, that is his image. And so he took that image of himself and split it into duality. The two have to come together to make the whole. And in this way, we become co-creators with God of ourselves, of more of us. You dig? Does that make sense?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fractals are everywhere. I'm thinking that maybe that third dark body is potentially, you know, the fractal nature of God and the duality there with that. Maybe that dark body, maybe the energies of this place, the electric, the magnetic, and perhaps the ether. Maybe there's something else out there that we're not aware of. That's what's creating the dark bodies, the moon and the sun and the moon. And I think that also kind of helps us maybe account for days that are different lengths, and the moon cycles that aren't perfect, and the sun cycles that aren't perfect as well. You know, in the way that human beings, our nature, we are of an imperfect nature in these bodies. But I'm gonna jump off because I gotta go. I just got home, but definitely want to say what up. Hey, you crushed it in these debates, and I love the new debate format, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, I'm hoping this will take hold and we can do something either on here, or if Jaron wants to adopt that format for his show, that would be cool too. I mean, we could try it out on his show and see how it works in real time. I don't think it would be a whole lot of problems. You know, I think it would actually eliminate that tactic that they have of constantly wanting to talk over you.
You know, you might consider doing, Sav, if you want to go all out with this, create an app, a debate app where it's CB radio style, where the moderator, you know, has his finger on the trigger, and either it's like almost automatic built into the programming where one person's always muted no matter what. Like even the mod couldn't even allow both people to be unmuted at the same time or muted at the same time or something like that.
I think that idea. I was thinking maybe there's a website that you can just push one button in and that's it. You know, someone gets to hold that button. Only one person can use it.
Well, it works like that here. If you look down here backstage, you can see your own little square, right? And like, for instance, right now, I just muted Mike. Mike can see that he's muted if he looks at himself under the main screen. Now I've unmuted him. Okay. So the moderator has control over that. And the way that it's indicated that one person is done talking, they say, done. At that point, then as soon as Mike says done, boom, I click mute Mike. Right. And then unmute the other guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy doesn't get unmuted, and the other guy the guy that's talking doesn't get muted unless he says done. Once he's stated he's done, it's like saying over on the radio. The other people know it's free to respond.
You know what's funny about these debates is that the people that we're trying to set free are the exact people that are rambling on about all these non sequiturs and nonsense about the globe. It's like those are the people that we're trying to like help unslave themselves. It's almost like a Plato's Cave situation where they've got themselves enslaved and in chains, and they don't want to leave the cave. It's really ironic. It really is.
Isn't the Plato's Cave one of the most fascinating little stories?
It's beyond fascinating, and
so much.
It's true on every level.
I love that story.
What story was it? I'm sorry.
Plato's Cave.
Plato's Cave.
Oh yeah. The allegory of the cave. Yeah.
Allegory of the cave. Yep. Yeah.
Very good one. If you have never looked into that, y'all.
It describes our reality. It's everything that's happening right now. The people we're trying to wake up. The reason we're doing the show. The reason you try to tell others. It's all that.
Dude, that movie Surrogates was
that too. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, dude, I had never seen that before. I'm surprised.
Wild production value.
Oh my god! And that whole thing encapsulated so much. Even the idea of your higher conscience is what's driving this avatar in your consciousness to begin with. That aspect of it, but it also showed the addictive nature of it, just like Facebook. Just like these social medias where these people look how people lost their fucking minds because Facebook shut down for 2 hours or whatever. I was asleep. I didn't even know it had happened. I got up and I looked at my phone, and all these people were flipping shit because of the Facebook was down. I was like,
I
if
think
Facebook
Raleigh
was-
had it in it. They were all in their wheelchairs, like they're all fat and in their wheelchairs chugging popcorn, but their wheelchairs are like hover chairs. You know, like they know it's coming. They know, and you see all those old videos that get rendered into color, and they're
Mhm.
walking down the New York street, and the only title that those videos have is "Where are all the fat people?" You know.
Yeah. You don't see that. And I got to say, just within my lifetime. Now, when I was a little kid, and I remember because my mom gave my dad hell for it. My mom worked second shift in a hospital as a nurse. My dad was first shift in a factory. He was a tool and die maker. So one evening when my mom was working, my dad took me to the circus. It was in town. And they had a freak show tent. And they had this morbidly obese woman. The fat lady was in there, right? And you had to pay money to see this morbidly obese woman. And people were like, oh my God, look at that. That's fucking incredible. Now all you have to do is just go to Walmart and sit by the front door. It's fucking all day long for free. I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you. There was, look, obese people were such a rare thing when I was a kid that if you saw an obese person, you would, as a little kid, you'd kind of stare. And I can remember my mother saying real quietly and moving my head saying, don't stare, David. You know, because that was a rare thing to see. And I'm like, what the fuck? Now it's just an everyday occurrence. You got more crippled fucking parking spots than you do regular parking spots. The whole front of the entire Walmart parking lot, I avoid that place like the plague. But the whole front of that parking lot ain't nothing but for fucking handicapped people. Now, here's the question. Why do we have so many fat and handicapped people? What has changed since the time when I was a kid up to now time I'm getting into my senior years?
They got us juiced up like heifers, dude. You know that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they let you RV stay overnight. They let you fucking camp.
It's
they got it smart, man.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We look at what's changed. What's changed? Well, we've had so many medical advancements. Well, if that's turned out so good, why do we got so many fucked up people? We used to never have this many fucked up people.
Yeah, it's true actually, because I've been on Instagram. So my new thing on IG is I've been kind of low key trolling Sci-Man Dan because he calls himself Science Man but doesn't do any experiments. So if you go look at his posts, you just see me on every one. It's like, hey, why don't you do any science experiments, bro? So every single day I jump on there, and my new theme is, why do all Science Dan's followers attack me so violently? It's so evil. It's so dark. And of course, as soon as I post it, within an hour, I'll get 3 like death threats basically from his followers. And it's like, see, I'm right. You guys are really dark. Like your following is, what you're doing is creating such a hostile environment, and your followers are like vitriol, like they're evil. And yeah, we're living in a dark place.
Yeah,
crazy. You're right.
Oh man, they get vitriolic. You know,
which is wild because
the lady does the space stuff. I do that same thing on all her posts. And if you listen, dude, I want to put it in like fast forward and like chop out all the blanks, because every single video she starts out is this like same exact tone. She says these like, buzzwords, and NASA's gonna, and did you know, and didn't it? And it's the stupidest.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I ruin her shit on the
every
reg.
single time. The Earth is flat, space is fake, cartoons are not reality, and post my page. You know?
Yeah.
She's so vaccinated though, dude. She has no idea where she's at. She's zapped out of her fucking skull every time that camera goes
Now
on.
there's like a new girl who's doing it, and she is like this that older lady's clone almost. She sounds exactly like her, and she stands in the bathroom, puts her chest up to the thing, and she's like, I'm a NASA this and that, and did you know? And it's just propaganda out the ass.
I've only seen her blink 3 times, and you can see the whites over the top of her eyes and the bottom. It's wild, man. That chick's got to go though too.
I'm not sure I'm familiar with who you're talking about.
I'll send you a clip. It's constant on Facebook Reels. If you just watch Reels for a second and scroll through, you'll run into one of hers because we always talk about space. So they give me all the space advertisements and all the science institutions advertisements. I get all of the Neil deGrasse stuff just from the advertising. And there's this one lady that, you know, they need, what it is, man, is they need an actor for every demographic. She's the one for women.
Yep.
Neil deGrasse for black people, and so on.
The only one
Bill Nye for white people, and so on.
The only one I can think of is that little chubby redheaded broad that says, "It's not okay to say the Earth is flat."
Yep, her too, but she's not more like FaceTime. She's like not as face worthy.
Yeah, the red hair. She didn't do too well when they did the testing for her on the numbers.
There was negative sampling.
The anorexic chick that doesn't blink though, she went through the chart. She went through the roof.
Oh, for Christ's sake! Yeah, there's. Why are they always a character too? They're always like some kind of character. Even that Craig, man, think about that. I mean, he's got this hair. It looks like some heavy ass woman come up, put his head right between her ass cheeks, squeezed them together, and stood up. You know, and it's like whoop, like this turd dollop hair. That sci-fi Dan's got the same thing going on with his fucking hair. What in the hell?
I confused the two of them at first.
I made fun of him so good. He recently did some Botox and a facial, and I just wrecked his shit for it. And he wore a hat in his most recent post because I've been dogging him on his hairline. It's too funny, you guys. You gotta go check it out. Right? They do try to appeal, but Sav, the other point that I think you've absolutely nailed is these people are in trouble because if you look at the background, the backdrops, the scenery they're always in, it's almost like they're at a facility. Because if you look at Simon Dan's background in all of his posts, he's got movie studio. Allegedly, it's his house. He's got movie studio lighting. It's always a perfect camera, always a perfect clip, and he's got this fake cat that looks like. Do you guys remember the cat on Inspector Gadget? That dark evil. The villain's cat, that orange cat. Simon Dan, that's his cat. And it's just so fake. It's clearly not his. He's not at his house. I think they're in a facility, and I think these people all got in trouble, like you're saying, and they're stuck there, and it's either there or the pen. So I think you nailed that one too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I can figure. And you know, it does look that way. I've got a video. I'll have to dig it out.
They're all actors. They're all paid, and you know, it's like
well, they've got these facilities like Ethan was talking about.
They don't just do random videos like that.
And there's these little cubicles.
Perfectly.
There's little cubicles of these like TikTok influencers and shit like that, and they're just like there's maybe 50 of them in this room. And they each have their own little set that's like a cubicle made up like a room, and they got all their props and their shit in there. And you can walk through there, and this guy's talking about that, and this one's over here talking about that, and they're just, it's like a factory of these fucking people.
A shorts factory is what they're doing. Every view you get it for a short. So they make a 15-second short, and if they get thousands of it's just repetition at that point. That's what they do with those things.
Have you guys seen the troll farms?
Oh yeah, I've busted one open on Twitter a few years ago, and I got kicked off Twitter for doing it.
Sheesh. Yeah, the Chinese troll farms are gnarly. They get like these stands, and it has like 15 or 16 cell phones on it, all connected and wired up. They're all standing in a room, and I think that's who these people are too. That are actually the bad actors in these chat rooms is these paid trolls, and I think they go in droves and in teams because you always get two things. You get two responses from two different dickwads, and they always double respond to everything. It's almost like a formula in the double responses from two people at the exact same time is kind of a telltale sign that this is a paid bot and troll. And I call them out all the time on it. It's classic. And then they go away, of course.
They, let me see, where did he, okay, there it is. I want to make sure where it's at. So I want to download that. Oh, what happened? Damn it. I lost it again. Shit. Okay, I found it. So this is the one I want to open. There we go. I'm setting that one up that Robot Polisher made. I'm gonna download that. But look, I've said this I was talking to my son, and look, it's got to this on Facebook. These fucking guys avoid me and my son like the plague. I needle them. I'll because what they're doing now is you got these globetards, people like Craig, and they start a flat earther page on Facebook. And it's completely populated by globetards.
Huh.
And people interested in the topic, they go there and all they get is shit from these guys, right? So I go into them, I join them, and these fucking guys have got to the point where they will not respond to me anymore. They won't even talk to me because they know every time I destroy their fucking arguments. Every time.
Wow.
And they won't even talk to us. It's like I'm looking over here on Facebook now. Oh, last time I checked, it was about 6 o'clock at night. I have 8 notifications. And I'll bet you half of them are laughy emojis. Nope, 2 of them are my son. Okay, there's a couple that I'll have to look at after a while that are from this guy who tried to tell me he tested the acceleration of gas due to gravity in a vacuum chamber. And I said, how did you do that? And he says, I used an air cannon and shot it into a vacuum. And I said, well, how did that prove gravity? He said, the gas particles slowed down. I said, how did you see the gas particles slow down? He said, I dyed the gas blue. And I went, you got to be shitting me, right? Okay, first off, as soon as you released anything into the vacuum chamber, it ceased to be a vacuum chamber. Okay, you propagated a medium. You did not see gas particles. You saw dye particles that were influenced and slowed down by the very medium that you were propagating by releasing it into the fucking vacuum chamber. Are you shitting me? What kind of an experiment? I said, can you give me any kind of external reference to this experiment? What is it called? Who performs it? Where do you have video of this? Anything? No, but I did it in university. Well, what's that mean? Nothing. I mean, it's an idiot. How are you going to test a gas in a fucking vacuum?
These goofballs, they hallucinate. They think they're so smart, and it's hilarious. We jump on here, and I mean, even just in 30 seconds, we can see all the issues and the uncontrollable variables and the things that could be wrong with the experiment. It's so classic.
God,
But
this is what pisses them off too, because I make no bones about it. I quit high school. I quit as soon as I found out I could. I hated that fucking shit. Does that mean I'm stupid? No, it means I escaped indoctrination. I mean, all the information, more information. I mean, it's like I'm sitting in this place and all they're doing is telling me shit I already knew. And I'm like, why am I wasting my time? Right? I already know more than what they're trying to tell me in the first goddamn place, you know? And then they'd get mad at me because I try to expand on what they're teaching everybody. It's, oh, you think you know everything. I'm like, well, fuck you people. I'm out of here, man. You know? And therefore I was free to explore my own curriculum. You see, the things these people are taught, they come from a curriculum, which means they have a guidelines. Can't go outside of that. Anything that goes outside of the academic curriculum is not to be discussed.
But you know, I will say I kind of agree with the way that America's set up. Hear me out on this one. It's a little bit twisted, but if you think about it, it makes sense. If you owned a business and wanted to run it your way, wouldn't you just run it the way that you wanted to run it? The answer is obviously yes. The United States of America Corporation has its, you know, company and its programs and its policies for its employees. And if what they say is true, which is, in my opinion, an even hotter topic than flat Earth on the internet right now, if the United States is a corporation and we're all citizens, aka employees of the federal government, and then absolutely they're doing exactly what they want to do, when they want to do it, where they want to do it, and how they want to do it. And you can't really disagree with them because all our parents registered us when we were kids, and these birth certificates, the whole thing with the birth certificates, if that's all true, then honestly, props to them. And it's going to be up to us to, deregister ourselves and, what's it called? Expatriate our citizenship, if that's the right terminology for it, and become actually free and sovereign, and live freely the way we want to, and learn and study what we want to do. But until then, we should follow their company policies and guidelines because we are their employees. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're absolutely 100% on point. My son, I don't know if you're familiar with Burn the Corporate Fiction. He knocks it out of the park with this shit. One of my friends, he's sometimes in the chat. He's probably watching and just not in the chat because he's doing other things while he watches or on the replay. He's in the process of doing all the notifications and everything right now. So yeah, power on. That's the thing. Look, when everybody realizes that the emperor has no clothes,
exactly,
okay, then the emperor is no longer an emperor. He's just a naked guy walking in the street.
So
1,000,000%.
It's the perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, who the fuck are these people, really? When you realize, well, the House of Representatives, they're there to represent me. No, they're not. They're there to figure out how to take more and more of your shit because they're in control of the nation's purse strings. Don't you know that? And the purse is fucking empty, baby.
Well, yes and no, kind of.
Yeah, it's empty. It's fake money. I mean, what is our money even backed by? I guarantee you there's not even... I don't think there's shit in Fort Knox. I don't think that there's shit in Fort Knox. I think they're guarding a big fucking lie. That shit was stolen a long time ago. 1933, Gold Confiscation Act. Everything was melted down into ingots and supposedly kept at Fort Knox. Nobody's been in there to even do an audit on the gold since 1974, and all they did was look at one storage locker. What the fuck is really... It was stolen. It's gone. It's gone. That's why we go to war with anybody that question us. This is why Nixon had to put the kibosh on even having a backing of gold to save the dollar from the speculators. The speculators were watching us spend billions of dollars a week in the Vietnam War and going, how in the fuck are they paying for this? We have our gold over there in their fucking thing, man. We better get it out. And so they started calling in their debts, especially President de Gaulle of France. He started calling in all his debts and he wanted them paid in US dollars so that he could redeem them for gold from the treasury. And so they put the halt on that shit by Nixon taking us off the gold standard and coming up with the petrodollar. So now, since then, the only thing that's actually been keeping your debt notes floating is that anyone that wants to buy OPEC oil has to first convert their money. They have to buy Federal Reserve notes in order to purchase that money or in order to purchase that oil. So,
is it ironic that they want us to go green, but at the same time, our dollar is backed by the gold? Or is that clearly an attack on the dollar? Is the green movement an attack on the dollar? Because as soon as everyone starts moving away from oil in such a heavy way, the value of the dollar will diminish.
That's exactly why the banks put the kibosh on fucking domestic oil. Because the only thing keeping our dollar afloat is foreign oil being sold for Federal Reserve notes. So Putin, we don't really even have dollars. We have debt notes. We have Federal Reserve notes. We don't have money. All right. So we don't even really have dollars. A dollar is supposed to be a 1 ounce of sterling silver.
Well, a dollar is a unit of measure.
Right. It's 1 ounce of sterling silver.
Well, technically, you could have a dollar of fried beans. You could have a dollar of grass. A dollar is a unit of measure, like an ounce or a pound. It's that's why there's a court case on file where the judge orders this guy to pay like 200,000 or whatever dollars. And then he says, dollars of what? He said, dollars of it. The judge says, dollars of anything. So the guy brings in $200,000 of beans. and then he counts them out, and it's like a half a bean too, and pays in beans. And the judge allowed it because he didn't specify dollars of what.
Right. Well, and he certainly, and here's the thing too. When I blew the tax lady's mind, right? I had to go down there and pay taxes on my Jeep. And I gave the woman the money. And she stamped this little receipt, give it to me. And I said, did you know that what we just did was illegal? And she goes, what, you giving me money? I said, I didn't give you money. I gave you debt. It's illegal to discharge a debt with debt. So how were we able to fucking do that? Right?
Emergency Banking Act of 1933, 39, something like that.
Yeah. A lot of shit went down in 1933. Gold Confiscation Act. Birth certificates were implemented. Emergency Banking Act. Yeah, all that fucking shit went in 1933. Isn't that interesting? Under the most communist fucking president that there ever was, man.
In a weird way, it's as diabolic as it is. It's kind of a good system, because if you can learn to kind of commandeer your quote unquote straw man, which is kind of, obviously not a legal term, but if you can commandeer that corporate fiction and learn how to function in commerce using it, we are set free. My actual theory is that Earth is both heaven and hell combined at the same time in the same place. And that's why we have what we have here, because it's the equilibrium point between everything that is good and evil. And so if you think about it from that angle, this system, which is dark and diabolic, is fantastic at the same time. And like you were kind of mentioning earlier, you can't really have dark without light. They work one and the same. It's a yin yang sort of deal. So if you want the beauty of this glorious potential for having infinite money and being wealthy beyond reason and being sovereigns of the land, you kind of also have to have the equal dark side of that, which is unfathomable poverty and slavery. So as weird as it sounds, it is kind of a good system. And honestly, if we can learn to harness it, we're going to be pretty stoked.
Yeah. Well, it's like I always say, free your mind and your ass will follow. Right? That's what you got to do. You have to understand what things are, why things are, and shit. And Burn the Corporate Fiction. It's a great channel. He goes into this shit deep. He definitely does. Let me see if I can grab his link.
Well, you do that. I'm getting out of here, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Dave.
All right. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for playing along for the demo too, man. I hope that made sense to people. If you got any questions.
Yeah, I hope they implemented the lower number of buzzers.
Yeah. Have the lower number of buzzers, and you only get 10 seconds with your buzzer.
Don't forget the Earth is flat. THCshow.live, y'all. Peace.
Right on, brother. Good night.
Later. Hey, Sav, I'm gonna jump off too. I've been sitting out here in my truck. I gotta get on with the night here. But yep. Thanks for having me, dude. Appreciate it. I'll be back around, and you'll see me in the chat.
Are you sub to Burn the Corporate Fiction?
No, but I'm definitely gonna jump on that, and I will be there. You'll see me there too.
All right, I just put the link down in the chat, so you can click that. It'll take you right to him. He's at BTCF 777, and that's pretty cool.
Right on. All right, brother.
All right, you have a good night.
Thanks, dude. You too.
All right.
Peace.
So, all right, man. I think that was Florida was better. Yeah. We got username redacted. Good to see you, my friend. No longer on the ball says, well, they seem to make money doing it. Virginia's personal property tax. Yeah, it is bullshit. It means I'm renting my personal property from the state. If I don't pay the ransom annually, they'll take my property by force, or won't let you register your vehicle. Like, you won't really take your vehicle. You just won't be allowed to register your vehicle. But there again, if you declare the proper status, you can get around that too. Read your first post. Where was it? Virginia's personal property tax. Hang on, I'm getting up there somewhere out here. Just put it in the chat again so I can see. I'm having a tough time finding it here. I don't see it. I can't find it. Anyway, I was going to record those ladies and I forgot to when I went down there. I thought it was kind of funny. Anyway, that was my idea for the debate format. Okay. So Mike put in Truth or Hour of Comedy. He implemented the buzzer, but the timer is that has to come with, you get 10 seconds. That's it. 2 buzzers, 10 seconds each. Other than that, you maintain impulse control. And because your mic's muted, if you have something, make a note of it, because then when the other person hands the mic over and says, done, that person gets muted. The other person is unmuted. They can go on with their points, use their notes like that. And that will, I think, stave away a lot of the interruption bullshit and the bloviating. Oh my God, the bloviating that guy does. He says so many fucking words and never says nothing. It's just like I was sitting there waiting for him. I was like, in the time that he told me that he knew the IV and all this shit about the IV, he didn't know the IV. He was waiting to hear it from the chat. He said he typed it in the chat. All he would have had to say was what the IV was. But he spent God knows how much time telling me how he knew it and then I didn't know it. And then he actually wrote it in the chat and blah, 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 blah. And what he was really doing was killing time so they only saw somebody put up in there what he needed to say. I want another go at that dishonest piece of shit, and that's for real. I ain't gonna let him weasel out of that, baby. I want you to demonstrate to me gravity affecting gas. That's what I want to see there, big boy. I want to see gravity affecting gas. I want to see it. And don't just tell me we have a pressure gradient. No, fuck you. Show me a downward acceleration of air. Prove that there's a force downward of air on me. If that's true, then a barometer would only work sitting level. Have it canted a little bit, pressure's off, right? Because after all, it's the weight, right? When everybody knows it's got a function in brain that it's due to displacement of the medium. Holy sheep shit, right? Good gravy. So if nobody's got anything else on here tonight, I'm going to wrap it up. That's all I had. And I'm just going to sign off. So we'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind. Don't forget, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him. Let me know in the comments what you think about the ideas. I think I'm interested. I think that if we implement this, I think we could really get some productive debates through. And I don't know how that'll play in with the lack of with the level of dishonesty that Craig deals in. But I think it'll eliminate a lot of his tactics of interruption, bloviating, and never directly answering a question. And it will make it a lot easier. I think when you take away that, go ahead and use up your time with insults if you want. You're not putting out any information. Go ahead and use it up. Use it up. Stick to the points, because when I'm talking, you don't talk. And when you're talking, I don't get to talk. Even if I'm yelling over here on the other side, my microphone is muted. Doesn't do me any good till the other guy is done, keyed up. So we'll see how that goes. So like we said, don't forget, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind.